Welcome to Learn Hub. This is session 2 of a video series created for a Selenium automation framework where I'm showing you the end-to-end flow, how the framework looks like and how to drive it and how to create it.
The aim and objective of this automation series is
To have parallel execution on Docker nodes, so if I pass a value as 3 and if I have 3 Docker nodes available, so it should execute 3 parallelly. So if I execute this, so I should have the 3 instances are getting executed parallelly. So you see 3 test cases got called parallelly. Now let's see execution. So these are the 3 different virtual machines and the execution is happening parallelly on all over 3. So in those who missed the session 1, I have covered these topics. So I recommend you to please go through the session 1 of this series where I explained the overview of the framework and what are the page object model and how to do parameterization over these files and the advantages and disadvantages. Also, how to solve the Chrome driver dependency. So in this session, I am covering these three topics: the reporting and how to add screenshots, the logger mechanism, what are the different ways we can create our own logger, and we'll show you and we'll describe you more about pom.xml, what are its plugins, and how the execution cycle actually happens. Okay, so just in the Session 1, in the end of session 1, I showed the into one short demo where the execution happened on the Docker nodes. So to give you a short description about what is Docker, so I'll just show you via Docker PS. So Docker PS is something which will show you the process. So if I show you my grid console, so you see the three Chrome machines are there configured. You see Chrome 1, Chrome 2 and Chrome 3. So this is this one. Okay, so I have the hub and it has been created at port number 4448. So if you go here you see the port hub has been created and on this port and all the nodes are at specific port. Okay, so in the VNC Weaver, if you see, so I have 68, 60, 69 and 70. And if you go here, you have 68, 69 and 70. You can create as many as the nodes. So this node is actually a machine. So if you want to execute on specific machines, so just you can do that or out of any available machine, this will pick at the runtime. So now let's move to the agenda for day 2 for session 2. So let's have a short look on what is report and what are how to add screenshots. So we have so whenever a testng comes into picture, it has its own report mechanism. So if you want, so I'll just show you the how the report happened for the last execution. So testng creates the target folder, and if you want to see, okay, so this is the one. And if I go, so this is actually the testng report. Okay, this looks better. So here this will give you what was our testng XML, which how many number of test sets was there, and what test cases status. I not used a much reporting of testng because I used the extent mm, report for the mechanism. So if I want to show you the report of extent, so just go. So here you will see the report for it. Okay, this is a typical extent report, and here all the filters are there. So if you want to see, the filters are already there. So in the end of this session I'll run two test cases so that you can figure out the difference of it. And for every step it's on you if you want to add any screenshot. So like here I added the screenshot for every page redirection, so the image got created accordingly. So now let's go towards the framework and see where actually I created the logic for it. So in the utils class, if you see, if you just go to the reports, here you see the extend report. So extend report is library available. So create the class of it and just add the data. There are some few predefined methods for it, like log status, start, and these are the actually events dot log dot. So if I do test dot, so we will be able to see start and date. So these are actually the things I can perform over it. And okay, now how to add this screenshot into these reports. So let me actually go through the flow. So this is this is from where my flow begins, okay, and this is my testng.xml where actually I am calling that class. So, so the first test, so every test will be denoted by a @test, which is of, if you just hover over it, you will see that it's of testng. So now, so what this will do, this will, I'll just navigate first to this URL, and the all the URLs are coming from Excel. Okay, now where is the data? So if you see in the constant, so here you see my XLS data path. So this is the data path. Path data. I'm just going inside it. You see here, and where is this site coming? This is defined here. I created the two rows. So one is for the URL remains same, password, username, password remains same, and I'm just changing a depart location from London in the first scenario, and second scenario I'm in depart location is Paris. That's all. So if you compare it with this, so this is row 1 and this is row 2. So if you go, this is first row, first column, first row, second column, first row, third column, and the parameterization will happen like this. First row, fifth column. So in the find flights, so first row, fifth column. So depart date, this will pick as 7. So just to get the flow, I'm using the data.xls for the flow. And if you go inside this, where I need to show you how the logging mechanism is working. So if you see, I'm creating the report which is of extend report. If you see, every time I am adding log status and whatever the data I want to pass. So you see log status here, and this is a logger mechanism. Okay, and if now coming to this point where I'm adding the screenshots. So I created a function which will take this screenshot. So so I just need a driver instance. So driver will give me, I need to take screenshot of which browser. So in the flow I'm assuming Chrome as my browser. So the driver will have a Chrome instance and this will take the screenshot. Now I'm saving that image as JPG, and whatever the path I'm specifying, this will save the screenshot at that location. So for every, so if I just double click on this, and we'll see where from where this is getting called. So you click element. So for every click element, this will take screenshot. if I scroll down more, so for enter text, so whenever I'm entering something, so this will take the screenshot, and for select by elements, this will take the screenshot. So you see, it's all I'm writing in a catch, not at the end. So whenever the failure occurs or whenever it's not able to find elements, so at that situation, this will take the screenshot. So for success condition, this will not, it's on us guys, when we want to take the screenshot and when not. So it's just we need to pass the file name and that's all. So this is about the extent report and this is about the reports. Now let's see logger. So logger is something where we can, maintain a list of events which happened through when the execution was happening. So again, it has a typical structure. So if I show you log4j.xml, so again, in what fashion our log should look like. So if I compare with this, so see, you see this format and this format will should match. Okay, so every percent n has a different meaning, guys. So please Google it. You will have the idea of it and how to. I just implemented that, so you can also maintain here what should be what will be my maximum file size and the information. What should be the name of where should it actually locate. I can change the location as well. So this is a typical format, and another format if you want to see, like here you see I used XML. I can use property file also. So, so you can see in this another framework I used dot properties file. So here for what purpose? For if you want to print the console logs, we can go for it. If you want to see what is the files, and also we can go for it. So these are just the flavors which Logger provides. And if you see, it should we should call it before starting of the execution. So you see this is where actually our flow starts, and this is the before class. So I'm just instantiating the logger. Okay, so this is, and in the constant file I have given the logger XML path. So if I just go inside it, so here you see the logger XML path. So before execution, I'm just instantiating the instance of logger, and whenever I want to log something, I'll just use log.info. So if I go log dot, so I can, for success, I as a automation engineer, I'll know what should be the outcome. Should it be a debug? Should it be a error? Should it be a fatal? Or should it be warning? So I can, drive my logger as per my need. Or if you want to see any, like here I put it as info, but it's in the catch. So I can, I could have given it as log.error. So it's on you guys, what things you needed in the log and all. So here, if you see here log, so whatever the information I have given, this was all created inside logger. So every clicked information, every page information, and what things are happening. So it should be informative enough to understand the entire flow, what actually the things covered in the flow. Now switching back to the next topic, what is pom.xml? So pom is a build management system. Okay, let me show you how the pom XML looks like. So this is a pom.xml. So it's what build management says is, whatever the for nowadays for every library I need to download it from somewhere. Okay, for Chrome, it's some different location is there. For Excel read write, I have POI libraries. I have I have the dependencies on every libraries. Okay, to read write any properties file, to have a testng, to have log4j, I have a different dependencies. So POM is something which will give you a center for that. Okay, so just write here the dependency for it, and this will download on the runtime. So as I explained you in the session one, this will download the Chrome version as I given here that I should download the Selenium. So same if I go for IE, this will download the driver for that. So I don't have to take care of now from where should I download, or so POM will take care of your build mechanism. And now again, so this is one of the feature to remove the dependencies, and one of the feature again is about the plugins. Okay, so generally these plugins get used. So compiler is on what Java version it should execute, and any Java executable path is there or not. So if something you have multiple JDK versions, and if you want to execute on specific version, so just give the path so that this will execute on that. So this is the functionality of the Maven compiler plugin. Then switching back to Surefire plugin. So Surefire plugin is something where we put the testng XML path. So this is typically designed to have a more control over execution. So skip test is something for if you want to skip execution and only build. So just make it true or false. This is where base directory and additional class information if you want to see what should be covered inside your flow, and where actually the testng XML located, and what is the thread pools. So this is a different functionality. When the parallel execution comes into picture, I will explain you the thread pool size regarding that. So as of now, just consider Surefire plugins job is to run testng.xml. Properties now let's see what properties Maven plugin. So if you see here, properties Maven plugin. So things like let's say if you want to change browser as a Firefox. Okay. So how to put such information? Like let's say my I want to change the hub location. Okay, hub name. I want to change the JDK version. So what I am creating is I am creating a system.properties. Okay, so before execution, I should have a flexible properties file created from where I can get from where the framework should get the value. Okay, so this is the first thing which is getting executed whenever I do or whenever I execute this command. Okay, mvn test or package or something. So this will. Okay, so this whatever the information, so this I'll give the path. So at this location, so if I just go resources and system.properties, so the values whatever I'll give, this will get executed. This will get replaced. So here if you see what I'm giving is the my Chrome driver executable and runtime. This is getting converted to this one. So this is what I choose to have a properties Maven plugin. So later if you want to put something which should execute before execution, so you can have the information there. Now l- let's have a look at Maven Assembly plugin. So guys, it's also we should think that our entire framework should not be only POM dependent or testng dependent. you know, it should be flexible enough to run, whether it in case pom is not working, I should have, leverage to run it through testng also. I should have leverage to run it through command prompt also. So this assembly plugins job is, to run, I'll be this will create a fat jar. So fat jar is something, a collection of your entire framework with all the dependencies. So dependencies as in your class files, your jar files, your XML files, your report and everything. You whatever you see, this will simply create a jar of it, and just do java hyphen jar and you'll be able to run your execution. So this is the job of assembly to, uh, combine whatever is there into a single jar, and whenever you want, just extract it or just run it via java jar. So what it needs is um, a main class. So in this session I have a session 3 for this, so I'll not explain you much because I'll cover this in session 3. But just as of now, consider the importance or the feature or the functionality of assembly plugin is to create a fat jar, and we just need to pass the main class path, and through which this will start. You should have the here I'm actually giving the entry path, what from where my flow should begin. So I'm just giving the entry of it. So guys, hope you understand the importance of POM and what's its feature, and if it is not, so then how it is helping me to make my execution or my build management easy. So this is about the pom.xml, and this is about session 2 topics. So in the next topics, I'll cover the testng.xml and the parameterization, pom.xml and parameterization. How can we create a single fat jar through this plugin, and we'll cover some features of Jenkins and all that. Thank you guys. Download this framework. So just type github.com/arkinget21. So this will redirect you to this page, and the one framework which I explained in this tutorial is this one. So just go here, click here, and click download as a zip. So this should start downloading. See, it is starting download. And if you want to set up a Docker on your Windows machine, it should be Windows 8.1 and more. So just go through this video, type Rahul Kinge on YouTube. So this will redirect you to this page, and you will be able to use Docker on your Windows machine. And if you want to execute or if you want to install a Selenium grid on Docker machines, if you want to create the hub and nodes on Docker machines, so just go through this video. This will describe you how to set up Selenium grid on Docker and how to access it from Windows.